so that I don't have time to figure out how to bring out its full potential. I need to stick to what I know. Fluttermane. I can't imagine.
Time to play.
Imagine not using it, especially under such a time crunch. I've been using choice specs for all my testing, and I'm going to stick with that. A Terratype of Fairy allows me to maximize
You get a new right end and a new, well, not new wide receiver, but right end definitely.
Most Fluttermane at this point invest heavily in their overall bulk, but I really want my Fluttermane to always be the fastest one. And since none of them are investing heavily in their speed, this is a safe bet.
Yeah, this defensive end.
Aaron told me to focus on Pokemon that would give me the tools to win. And when I think about King Lou, I think about how well it matches up into a lot of the more fringe composition. Teams that rely on Sun or Trick Room to overwhelm their opponents with speed and damage really falter against King Lou, since it dampens special attacks and has incredible bulk. To get around that, Sleep is often used to slow King Lou down. But if I give my King Lou a Love Berry, they'll be immune to status one time, which is often enough against these super frail teams. I run the 4 most consistent moves on King Lou, and train it to have enough speed to hopefully outspeed other King Lou, while still maximizing its survivability. And I put the remainder in an attack. A Terratype of Poison will allow me to match up well against other Fluttermane, while also resisting Bug and Fighting attacks that previously would have been super effective. So I have the strongest Pokemon in the format, and the Pokemon that I think will allow me to handle a lot of the more fringe, but still threatening teams. Now I need Pokemon that match up well against
going ahead and playing Madden, I just remembered, crap, I'm using my super stud right in I have, because I can't resign them. Yeah, so I went ahead and went, well, time to look in the draft, and I went, this guy's projected to go first overall. And then something I just realized is week 8 is 3 weeks from now, my game. So when week 8 comes around, I can go ahead and trade my wide receiver to get the first overall pick and a few more picks. Because that guy is a pretty good player. Yeah. I'm gonna go this way now.
Yep. Especially when you can't resign the guy because you ain't got the money.
format and are just generally strong. I've been using Chi-Yu, Gyarados, and Amoonguss throughout all my testing, and I only have a little time left, so I decided to add all 3 at once. Importantly, the most dominant team in this format so far includes Palafin, Arcanine, and Amoonguss as a central core. Now, that core isn't as popular as it once was, but I still want to be prepared for it. I designed this specific core of Gyarados, Amoonguss, and Chi-Yu to always beat Palafin, Arcanine, and Amoonguss-based teams. Let's start by talking about Chi-Yu. While many Chi-Yu use offensive items like Life Orb, Choice Specs, or Choice Scarf, this set is different. It's Safety Goggles with a Terra-type of water. And unlike most other Chi-Yu, which prioritize burst damage, this Chi-Yu is designed to set up Master Claw. Like I said, this Chi-Yu is designed to beat Palafin, Arcanine, and Amoonguss. Terra Water allows you to resist their most powerful attacks, and with Safety Goggles, you can set up freely in front of the Amoonguss, and then threaten big KOs without worrying about range powder. I gave Chi-Yu enough speed to outspeed both Smolango and Glumora, and enough special attack to KO Excalibur and Fluttermane with Flamethrower after a boost. With the points I had left, I focused on allowing it to survive a King Lou stomping tantrum, investing heavily in its physical defense since its special bulk isn't that bad. Of course, Chi-Yu still isn't the bulkiest Pokemon, which is why I paired it with Gyarados. Unlike my Charlotte team, which featured offensive Gyarados, this is a purely supportive set intended to keep its team alive while disrupting the opponent. Thanks to its ability to intimidate, Gyarados weakens the physical attack of opponents every time it enters the field. With Thunder Wave, it can not only slow down opponents, but also cause their attacks to fail a quarter of the time. Odds you can increase if you use Waterfall before they attack, providing both a little damage and the chance to flinch. Pond is an amazing move that not only shuts down heavily supportive Pokemon like Infinity and Amoonguss, it can also be used to ensure an opponent doesn't protect. I gave Gyarados Protect as the final option, and while I don't think it needs it necessarily, I didn't have that much time to find the perfect slot, and I figured I would never be upset to have Protect. I trained Gyarados to be super bulky on the special side, since Intimidate was boosting its physical defense, and I gave it a Citrus Berry to help it stick around even longer. I went with Terra Steel, since it's the best defensive type in the game, and Gyarados resists all of Steel's weaknesses before it terrestrializes, which just leaves Amoonguss for this defensive core. Rounding out the fire, water, and grass typing, Amoonguss is one of the best support Pokemon in the game. It can disrupt opponents by putting them to sleep, protect its partners by redirecting attacks with Rage Powder, and even heal up its teammates with Pollen Puff. The last move is normally a debate between Protect, which is more useful generally, and Clear Smog, which is helpful against Dindozo. Personally, I don't like Clear Smog Amoonguss at all because it's really only useful versus Dindozo, which isn't even that good right now, and even then, Terra Steel or Substitute can render it useless, so I went with Protect, which is really useful, especially on a super slow Pokemon like Amoonguss. While Citrus Berry is the most common item on Amoonguss, I went with Mentler. I think it only activated one time during the tournament, but I'm still glad I had it because it was really useful in certain matchups during testing, and in theory, I thought it could win games when people relied too much on Taunt to stop Amoonguss. Terra Water was the pick here since it resists fire and ice, and is overall just a great defensive type. So, in an hour, I'd gone from nothing to a team of 5 Pokemon. Looking at my team, I really don't have anything for Dozo. So, I have an Iron Bundle with Encore and a ton of Volt, play a few games to make sure it feels good, and the rest of the day off. But that evening, once Game 7 had gone to bed, I decided to test a little more extensively. After a few games, 3 things became clear. 1, the team worked pretty well. 2, I was never bringing Iron Bundle unless they had Dindozo. And 3, I was really weak to opposing Iron Bundle. In other words, take a tour of the place from the comfort of your phone. This is a 5 Pokemon team let the opponent at its Dozo. And I didn't have great answers for opposing Iron Bundle. I was really stuck, so I sent a message to my friends explaining what I was looking for. Both Aaron and Brendan sang suggested an Iron Hand, and I was reminded again that Game 7 had said the same thing. Iron Hands fix my Iron Bundle problem, but what about Dozo? Iron Hands on its own can't do everything. No, but what about with the support I already had? Even though its electric typing matches up well against Dozo's water typing, Dozo is just so powerful when it comes to stats that it doesn't really matter. And even if Iron Hands could do damage, Dindozo could just terrestrialize away from water. On top of that, Dindozo does so much damage to Iron Hand. Even if Iron Hands terrestrializes grass, it would probably still lose the war of attrition. So the question is, can I design an Iron Hands that can somehow beat Dindozo? There's 2 types of Dindozo. Oblivious, which stops Intimidate, and Unaware, which reverses Snap. The Lucas and Gyarados make probably stop Dindozo by lowering its attack. But unfortunately, after running the power, it looks like I'll still just barely keep this game. That's so close. Before Iron Hands just what if I gave Iron Hands left the first game? With this little bit of extra healing, it looks like it will actually work. Or it looks like it'll work here. It's 1 a.m. and I am way too exhausted to test. But there's still one more problem. I am so exhausted. If I don't rest, I won't be able to play well. Should I spend the extra hours that it will take to figure out the perfect key spread, or should I prioritize sleep? And just like that other time I was the rock, this is a surge of in this case, I'm going to fail it. Despite having to stay late at work, went home and immediately got off work. Before I slept, I told Dylan that I wanted the TV spreads. When I woke up the next morning, Dylan made a full 16-page document, including my original spreads and goals, suggested alternative spreads, and they did, and reference graphs to the common stat benchmarks for relevant Pokemon to help me make the most informed decisions. as matched up co-hosts they'll be hosting tournaments, some of which have cash prizes of upwards of $20,000. On top of that, I will also be providing offering a pile of content at Pokemon once or twice a month. I think this is a really cool project that goes in deep. And I think it can help a lot of people who already have that. So I hope you find it. But my friends, I think it takes about 4 hours. An hour, I already have a hot gear, so Iron Man is just left. I checked, the X7 is open. When I was done, grab some lunch, and I'll be a Hartford, Connecticut, Georgia. I can't remember the last time I was this exhausted going into a tournament, but at least I have a team that I can feel good about. As the evening draws to a close, I head back to my hotel and head to bed, anxious but ready for tomorrow. Saturday, 0 days until the tournament. I wake up early and I head to Hotel Breakfast, but to my dismay, they don't have anything there. I see looking at it open, but they do at least have tables. It's time to head to the venue and wait for round 1 to begin. About 30 minutes until the tournament starts. I'm feeling pretty good, but definitely nerves are starting to set in. It's definitely a little weird not being as practice for this event as the other ones I've been to this season, but I feel like I made good success at this point, and all that's left is to now, round 1 is one of the most but there is more to it than just that. Round 1 is the most volatile round of the entire tournament because it's the only time you can play against literally anyone. After this point, when you're matched against other players, you can make more wins to win the tournament, more likely you are to become teams. Is it standard or near standard? There are always some players who are running totally off the wall strategy, and sometimes we match up favorably against opposing teams, even if they don't match up well against the field. These types of teams are unlikely to do well, but you can still do it. If you lose round 1, you're much more likely to run into these types of teams than you win. Unfortunately, my round 1 is going to be Bullet. It's a Sun team with Bulligan and I need to watch out for fast counter and battle starts with their Chi-Yu and Iron Bundle against my Gyarados and Chi-Yu. They protect both their Pokemon as I switch Gyarados to Blue and launch Flamethrower. Dragon Bite Team's ground typing, they switch Murkrow in for Chi-Yu. I predict this, perhaps launching my Chi-Yu to water and doubling its Iron Bundle, knocking it out as an Iron Bundle. Great Toss comes in, and next to Salt Best, I can't KO it. They switch to Blue out Gyarados as it makes Tailwind and Rock Slide. Chi-Yu's Flamethrower drops Murkrow to low. At this point, I want to make sure I'm stalling out Tailwind, so I protect Chi-Yu and switch back to Blue, and say Haze and Rock Slide. I go back at Gyarados and Blue as they go for Sunny Day and close combat, and I knock out Murkrow. One turn of Tailwind is all that's left, so I protect both my Pokemon to stall it out. I'm worried my switches are going to be full, so I stay in Gyarados. Grass Fire as their Chi-Yu Dark Pulse my Gyarados, and Tusk survives my Flamethrower and fires back with close combat. Gyarados, unfortunately, glitches. I protect Chi-Yu, blocking their Dark Pulse, and Gyarados just barely survives Great Tusk's Rock Slide, and just half of their Chi-Yu's health. Now I protect Gyarados as they keep my Chi-Yu just barely survives, and KOs their Great Tusk, putting me in the lead 4-1. I have no one game is enough time to win 2 out of 3. That would be so much more visibility, and definitely not out of words. I have a feeling that for these, they're going to leave Bulligan to the portal, so I commit to my 2 Pokemon and as expected, they draw from Bulligan to the portal. The battle starts with Bulligan terrestrializing water as portal protects, using Sleep Powder and Blue as my Love Berry picks it up. Flamethrower does almost half the damage, and Ruination is blocked by portals and tech. This is a pretty good turn, but looking at this machine, I realize the portal is holding death. Of course, it's out, and if it's down far lower, I don't think my opponent's working on that. The best Pokemon are Chi-Yu, Iron Bundle, Ghost Ring, those only bring less damage my team since sun is weak. So I decided to do something. I switched to blue Gyarados and told it to jump back. My opponent took almost like 3 goals, but in the end, he decided to run away from us. It's only the blue Gyarados goal. I had much more. Let's just see whether this is it. I choose to go goals and things to knock it out. Thanks to the safety goggles, my lead is nearly insurmountable. I take a look at the Dark Pulse, revealing the last Pokemon to be Iron Puzzle. I predict it to protect and Dark Pulse Torkoal, doing over 70% and causing eruption to do nothing. Bundle KOs my Gyarados, but that leaves my Chi-Yu to safely knock it out with Flame. With only no Pokemon left, my remaining Pokemon that always scared me. I think sometimes because I'm so high and too steep crowded, my team was really well suited to win. And overall, I feel like I played well, especially in game 2. So, feeling good, but it's only round 1. There's still a lot more. It's time for round 2. This time, my opponent.
Hello. Like, unfortunately, you need to be very careful with the rest of this game, alright? I was able to hold the Atlanta Falcons pretty much to nothing to start off the game. And they were literally in field goal range, and I hit them out of it back towards their 40. And then the first thing my punt returner does is he gets the ball, he runs, then he fumbles. Immediately giving it back to them at their 30. Well, at our 30. And then we stop them in front of the end zone multiple times, and then they make the field goal. It's like, okay, so you're on thin ice the rest of this game.
Yeah, right.
You make another mistake, you're just done. The only reason you're here is to pick and punt returner. If you're going to fail a mess up like that, you ain't on this stage. Yeah. I'm going to go this way now.
Terastallizes to fire, and of course, Fluttermane wakes up, doing half to Gyarados with Shadow Ball and taking over half from Waterfall in retaliation. Corviknight's Brave Bird is blocked by Protect. Here, I can see a win condition. I switch to you And now, I'm going to make a choice. I'm not sure if there are possible KO here, even after an nasty plot, just because I don't have any experience with this team. If I think they're going to protect to get a little more leftovers recovery, I can go for another nasty plot and guarantee winning the game if I get it right. And this is so obvious.
Leon Robinson, baby. That kid has what it takes to be the best. And he runs it in. Dickens, baby. 2 touchdowns so far in this game have come from Dickens. You shanked it. You shanked it. I feel that hurt. It hurt so much.
He's a friend of mine named Ben, and he's known for making super awful Pokemon like Lure, this time he's using a team of partners, he's the first test of whether my Iron Hand's security actually can work in practice. Battle starts with this Lightning Renaissar against my Team Blue and Gyarados. I protect and switch to Iron Hand, as he goes for a Rock Slide and a low kick and fly protect. Iron Hands is a super good matchup against both Lightning Rock and Renaissar, so Ben switches both of his Pokemon out into Dozo and Tatsugiri. This is an unaware Dozo, meaning I can intimidate it, but it's Terra Grass and has Rest, which means I'll need to be very careful when shooting it down. The good news is I definitely have the tools to do it. I switch Gyarados in, I switch Gyarados out, I switch Gyarados in, I switch Gyarados out. Once I've dropped Dozo's attack low enough, I'm ready to start actually attacking. I get to Dozo to low HP, but Rest brings it right back up again. But that's okay. I analyze it, and then use Taunt to prevent it from using Rest again, dropping its health lower and lower with Iron Hands. Eventually, I knock it out, scoring Tatsugiri in the same turn. Iron Hands have now KO every remaining Pokemon in one shot, and I quickly win the game. I lead Gyarados to take one here. My surprise is that he's off the second. I'm worried about Iron Hands for a ball, so I protect and lose turn 1 and go for a taunt, but Indeedee redirects the taunt will follow me as Armor sets up a trick room. Indeedee switches out into Tyranitar, and now that Ben's revealed 3 of his 4 Pokemon, I know I no longer need to worry about Dozo. Armor Draft Flies the grass, but I covered that. I go for Ruination. Armor's Heat Wave doesn't do much damage. Gyarados' Waterfall drops Armor very low. I decide to protect both my Pokemon. Since Tyranitar's Choice Band, this will tell me what it wants to do. It locks into Rock Slide. Armor switches to Indeedee as I switch into Iron Hands, and Heavy Slam the Indeedee switch. The Rock Slide doesn't do much damage to either Pokemon. They switch back into Armor and follow me, as my Ruination and Great Punch knocked out Indeedee. And both Trick Room and Psychic Terrain end. Lucky Rock hits the field goes for Howl, as Tyranitar switches in for Armor. for Team Blue as they rock slide and focus my slot, and I don't blitz and hit the Minotaur with the green punch. Down 2 against 4 with the best goal. As an aside, this is only again my last game was good. My one was super good, so I played before someone I really respect, and the team matchup was scary. I think it probably ended up being in my favor, but that didn't mean that I wasn't really afraid for the majority of the set. Playing against Dozo when you don't have like a clear Dozo remove button is really scary, especially one with rest, and you can't really just chip down. So I feel really good about winning that. I feel really happy to have won. But I do feel like I spent a lot of energy doing that, so I just really hope that I'm able to kind of rest and recharge before jumping into round 4. I feel pretty good, having actually beaten.
Great costume. Looks like you deserve both. See ya, boys.
Dozo with my strategy when, to be honest, I wasn't entirely sure that it would work. But this was just the first test. My next opponent also has a Dozo, and this one has the other ability. That Intimidate strategy I just pulled off, it's not going to work. If I want to win, I'll need to use Sword Stands. The battle starts with their Fluttermane and Dragonite against my Tinglu and Gyarados. I predict Fluttermane to protect and launch a Ruination into Dragonite, as they protect Fluttermane and Stomping Tantrum my Tinglu. They switch both of their Pokemon out next turn into Dozo and Tatsugiri, meaning the boss fight is here already. I get Iron Hands in safely and Terra Grass, keeping myself safe. They Terra Grass as well, making them immune to my Amogus. That's fine. With Amogus' support, I Swords Dance once, twice, 3 times, maxing out Iron Hands attack. With +6 attack, I KO'd Dozo and with only Fluttermane, Tatsugiri, and Dragonite left, and damage Terra Grass and Iron Hands. I easily win Game 1. But Game 2 will be a bit more difficult. They lead with Lamora and Dozo against my Tinglu and Gyarados. They Terrestrialize Lamora to Grass and Mortal Spin, as Gyarados and Dozo both attack, and I give them Talking Spikes by using Stomping Tantrum. This probably seems like a bad turn, but the reason I went for Stomping Tantrum rather than something safer like Ruination or even Slam is because I figured if they Terrestrialized early their Lamora to Grass, then they wouldn't be able to Terrestrialize later their Dragonite to Flying, and therefore Iron Hands would be able to win the game. I protected switching to Amogus, absorbing the spikes and blocking their attacks. They switched to Dozo into Lumberry Dragonite to eat the Spore as I Ruination Lamora and get Poison. But because they already Terrestrialized Lamora, they can't get rid of Amogus quickly. I put Dragonite to sleep and whittled down Lamora, eventually forcing Dozo back in. And just like last game, now all I need to do is get Terra Grass Iron Hands in safety. I pull it off, set up my Sword Stance, and easily KO Dozo. With only Tatsugiri and Dragonite left, I easily win. I feel really good about that win. This is the first time I've actually played against this specific Oblivious Dozo team. Even in testing after I made the change to my team last minute, I knew the theory was sound, but I was a little worried about actually holding up in practice. It was still scary, it was still difficult, but I felt very dialed in terms of what had to happen in order for me to win, which is always a goal. Basically, it was amazing experience to sort of getting a win in back-to-back rounds on Dozo. The tournament, but so far I would say I'm feeling pretty good. After chatting with Shady Penguin and Drew about games so far, it was time for round 5. And this match was going to be on stream since I'd be facing off against my friend Bowler. Bowler is the 2012 World Champion in the 11 through 15 age division, and a national champion like myself. And we've played a few times over the years, including this season, so he had a decent idea of my playstyle. This team was very scary, comprised of Choice Band Tinglu, Avion, a Bulbasaur, Fire Bundle, Bronzong, and Cerulet. It's a powerful offensive team, but when I looked it over, I realized something. Iron Hands looks stupidly strong, but I can't start off with my 8. I know this all is pretty safeguard, so it's pretty scary. But thanks to the Intimidate, who survives comfortably, Gyarados is in a great position, but I'm a little worried about my bundles waterfall, so I decided to make a random switch to bring Iron Hands into Gyarados in case I need it to play later. Tinglu does switch out, but it's almost in.
Yep.
So
is the soda.
Huh?
I said, so is the soda.
Show me the shoulder.
Yep.
Maybe all of us dropped the focus that the bonus versus the Aurora Veil on Blizzard. My scored against support play generated a ton of momentum. I want to Thunder Punch Disney all, and I also want to save Lucas. I head to my bench and switch the focus to Gary, thinking that either I hit Disney all with Thunder Punch or I intimidate Blue. Polar doesn't any Blizzard, but because of the vessel of Blizzard doesn't do that much. Tinglu is the only Pokemon Polish field that can threaten my Iron Hand. So I decided to double attack with it and it's guaranteed turn. Wonderful does a little bit of damage, and it almost goes Blizzard brings Iron Hand, and Drain Punch negates all the damage, giving it back to near full HP and almost KOing Tinglu. Polar switches a bonus no into the sleeping Vivian, but I ignore it, knocking out Tinglu and going for another Swords Dance to ensure I can KO a bonus no and bundle even in Snow and Aurora Veil. Iron Bundle is sent out and protect as I break Vivian's Focus Sash. Polar goes for a Hail Mary freeze, switching Vivian out for a bonus no, and he gets it, but on the wrong target. Iron Hands KO's bundle and heals back all the damage it took, and I win game 1 thanks to this massive lead. When I think about it, there's only 2 Pokemon on his entire team that can actually damage Iron Hands. Swords Dance, Ceruledge, and Tinglu. I expect him to bring both, but since the Ceruledge's clear amulet, I can't slow it down with Gyarados' Intimidate. That means it's really important that I deny it setting up as much as possible. So I decided to stick with the same 4 Pokemon in game 2, since I really want to lead GU to make sure that Ceruledge doesn't get out of hand. But Polar leads with the Bulma Snow and Iron Bundle. I think about this position. Polar really doesn't want either Pokemon to go down to a flamethrower. Knowing this, he can go for Protect Iron Bundle and Terra Water Aurora Veil with Bulma Snow. This lets him scout either of my Pokemon for a Protect and get 8 turns of damage reduction at relatively low risk, but not no risk. I go all in on this prediction, going for a Nasty Plot and a Spore into the Bulma Snow. I hold my breath. If I get this turn wrong, it could be disastrous. But when the turn starts, I see that a Bulma Snow terrestrialized to water. Unfortunately, Iron Bundle doesn't protect. It attacks. And so does a Bulma Snow. My perfect play cost me my Amogus, and I didn't even do any damage. I send out Iron Hand, and decide to use my Terra for third Polar Hydro Pump, but thanks to the water typing, the damage is negligible. The Dark Pulse KOs Amogus thanks to Nasty Plot, while Iron Hand sends out Swords Dance. Polar sends out Choice Band Blue. The problem with water type is that it's now weak to Freeze Dry, and if Polar goes for Freeze Dry, I can't save this with Gyarados. But my most important Pokemon is Iron Hands. If it faints, I'm done for. So I decided to stick to Gyarados anyway, even though I know that it's probably going to drop to Freeze Dry. Polar does go for Freeze Dry, but into Iron Hands. And thanks to the Intimidate, Iron Hands survives and one hit KOs Blue well. That's I'm up 3 against Team. As Polar's last Pokemon is revealed over Ceruledge. I'm a little worried about Protect and Swords Dance, so I taunt and Drain Punch the Iron Bundle. Those are double attacks my Iron Hands, but it survives 1 hit. KOs Iron Bundle, moving back to the love path. Up 3-1, I clean up the game.
Congratulations on the win. You're undefeated in the tournament so far. How are you feeling about your decision to use Gyarados for that challenge for the top?
That's a hard question. That's a hard question. Is weird where the city that deals with physics. At the time, where she did this village, this grab half the Pokemon tournament, so I actually went to see her in 2018.
Maybe it's Is it me, Tyler Swipe? Swifty?
Single round 6.
Alright.
Alright. That is me. Alright.
My opponent informs me that they haven't lost a single game all day. And I'm a little worried when I see their team. Palafin, Arcanine, Amoonguss, Fluttermane, Baxcalibur. I'm very confident against teams that feature these 5. But the last Pokemon is Tyranitar, and my entire game plan against the rest of this team is to use Chi-Yu, a Pokemon who notoriously is horrible into Tyranitar. I'm gonna need a different plan. My opponent leads off with Palafin and Flutter Mane against my Chi-Yu and Amoonguss. They switch Flutter to Amoonguss as I Terra Water and Nasty Plot. Palafin sends him a substitute as my Spore fails. But this is zero form Palafin. They Terra Grass their Palafin, probably expecting me to double the substitute with Dark Pulse and Spore, but I see an opportunity to KO their Amoonguss with Flamethrower. Their Wave Crash does no damage as I side Pollen Puff, healing back to full. Excalibur sent out, but I just Flamethrower it and it drops. And now they're stuck with Baby Palafin for the rest of the game. Flamethrower KOs Flutter Mane and my opponent forfeits. Game 2's not going to be so easy, since the obvious adaptation is to bring Tyranitar to deal with my Chi-Yu. To counter this, I lead off with Gyarados and Iron Hands against their Tyranitar and Arcanine. The battle starts with a switch to
Hey, Dad. Come see this real quick. Ah, never mind. It's just the kickoff. Never mind. It's just the field goal.
Oh.
I was trying to show you the play I did because I was waiting and one guy literally dropped down to cover Bayless, and so everyone was covered. So using Davenport, I rolled out, ran to the side, and started running upwards, still behind the line of scrimmage. And since I was doing that, Bayless ran upwards to try and block someone who got in the way. And since I saw that, and since no one was covering him, I just ran up and threw the ball to Bayless, and he caught it in the end zone.
Wow. Hell yeah. And then, of course, you got Kobe and it's 50K.
Yep.
Where winning is possible, thanks to my Flutter Mane being full HP and my whittling down of their Flutter Mane. Unfortunately, another critical hit seals my fate, and I lose. It's definitely a little frustrating to lose that last one. I feel like it's just a bad way to go because I don't want to forget where teams are tomorrow, and whenever there's a lot of close ball like there are today, just a lot of areas to lose. Just to lose, but I don't think that my gameplay was like super solid. Like I felt like it was mostly just trying to figure it out as I went. So I can't really be that upset about losing because I don't think I was really that good at it. So really hope I win the next one. Otherwise, it's quite insane. Unfortunately, exhaustion is on your team, and multiple nights without sleep in a row start to add up. The thing about using a team that you're inexperienced with is that it costs so much more effort to think through every turn because you can't rely on your autopilot or good habits at all. And as it's so late in the day, I can literally feel my brain basically all over. I need to win this next one to make sure that I make it to game 4. My next opponent is Oblivious Mendoza, meaning its teammate will be totally ineffective. They also have Iron Bundle, Chiyu, Gamora, and Dragonite, a solid offensive core. Game 1 opens up with their Iron Bundle and Chiyu, but I know what to do. I pressure them, forcing them into Mendoza.
Baby.
Fine, I set up Iron Hands at my own pace and run through the game. However, in Game 2, my opponent totally blinded past second. They make an aggressive adjustment, leaving the advantage behind. Now I'm totally caught off guard as they pair their Choice Band Dragonite lockup Earthquake with their Paragraph Aura. I can't stop talking to myself up, nor did I easily slow down my damage. I see my paralysis is very distracting, but things are looking good. In the end, I have Iron Hands effectively against Chiyu, Gamora, and Dragonite. I'm thinking about how I want to adjust for Game 3, but to my shock, Chiyu misses an E-Wave against Iron Hands and definitely finished it off. I heal back up and take the KO with Drain Punch, but unfortunately, I'm still gonna lose. Choice Band Dragonite outputs too much damage. My Iron Hands is at half HP, and I don't have any captains. Except, I paralyzed both Dragonite and Gamora earlier, and I somehow win Game 2 thanks to a paralysis on Dragonite. And just like that, I made it through to the second day of competition. I'm really happy with the one, though I wish it was a little bit cleaner, definitely not pretty lucky in that game too. Yeah, but overall, I'm really happy this means that I get to play tomorrow. It's 5 additional rounds, and then if I do well in that, I'll finish in the top 8 or better, which would be awesome. It's like a nice boost for me to have all depending on the last round. Before then, I still have one final round left. If I win game 1, game 1 of my rounds tomorrow, but if I lose, I'll need to win round 5. In other words, it's a super important round. But it's the exact same team that I just lost to in round 7, used by a different player. I'm able to win game 1 this time, putting me in the lead. My opponent's Choice Band Dragonite proves to be too difficult. They keep clicking Outrage in front of my Fluttermane and getting the proper target. And with the Choice Band, it just does too much damage. It's all down to game 3. I make an aggressive prediction, but I get it wrong, and it ends up costing me the game. Even though I made it out of day 1, I'm frustrated. I went from 6 wins, 0 losses to 7 wins, 2 losses. And in doing so, I made it so much harder for me to make it into the top 8 players. Not only that, both opponents I lost to also made day 2 with 8 wins and 1 loss. If I'd been able to beat one or both of them, the odds that I'd have to play them again would be much more in my favor compared to what actually happened. So I lost the last round. I'm honestly pretty frustrated about it. Losing to the same team twice is frustrating.
I'm gonna listen to some music.
Brought down at the 4-yard line. A gain of 3 yards. It's now 3rd and goal. That's the end of the 3rd quarter of play. With the score at 10. The Falcons take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Rogers pass, intended for number 89, incomplete. It's now 2nd and 10 at the 25-yard line. A loss of 6 yards, and it's 3rd down.
Holding offense. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense.
The ball carried by number 4. Brought down behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of a yard. Brings up 2nd and 11 at the Falcons' 38-yard line. Intended for number 86. Incomplete. Brings up 3rd down and 11. Intended for number 86. Incomplete. Sets up 4th down. It's now second and 10 at the 25-yard line. Carter's pass complete to number 8, Kyle Pitts. A loss of a yard on the play, and it's third down. The Texans take over first and 10 at their own 48-yard line. Brings up second and 4. The Falcons take over first and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
frustrating, but I honestly don't think that it was a magical
Amazing.
needed to play in a different way than I did. But it's definitely really sour note to end the day on. Now I'll need to do even better tomorrow. And after officially winning the first game of the set, I really feel like I could have been in a position where like I just had 8 wins already, but it is what it is. I got to put it behind me. It was a really long day, and the important thing is that I made it to tomorrow. I get to
Wake up, wide receiver. Let's check this out.
We'll see how things go. Yeah, I mean, I only lost 2
Yeah, it's
today,
Justin Bayless.
twice, so I don't feel too bad when you tomorrow,
Chris
but
Mayers,
it's probably a much
no.
better margin now. With the day finished, I grab some dinner and head back to my hotel room as soon as I can to try and catch up on sleep. I wake up the next morning, not quite refreshed, but at least a little more juice in the tank. And after grumbling about the lack of bananas at this shady hotel, I head back to the venue for day 2. It's the morning of day 2. I'm feeling good, definitely a little sleepy, didn't sleep as well as I would like, and definitely pretty nervous, but I'm glad to be here, and I just really hope that I can make this team proud. The first part of today has 5 rounds. Once the dust is settled, the best performing 8 players over the entire tournament will enter into a single elimination bracket and will play until only 1 player remains. Because I lost twice yesterday and the records carry over to today, I need to win every single set if I want to make it to those final 8 players. My first opponent has Goldango, Mousehold, Annihilate, Tinglu, Gyarados, and Iron Bundle.
What?
You're gonna need these.
Bam.
This team is very weak to my Iron Hand, as long as I prevent Annihilate from getting boosted by the mouse hole. In other words, all I really have to do is make sure that the mouse doesn't wreck my house. I lead with Fluttermane and Chi-Yu against my opponents Tinglu and Gyarados.
Q.
Bad news is, this lead matchup is definitely not
You
my favorite,
what?
but the good news is, my opponent isn't really exerting that much pressure. I switch both my Pokemon out as they Terra Poison Tinglu and Heavy Slam, while Gyarados protects, covering for Thunderbolt. Gyarados taunts Amoonguss, but Mental Herb finally activates, and I KO Gyarados with Thunder Punch. Tinglu's Ruination takes half of my Iron Hand's health, but I put Tinglu to sleep in exchange. Annihilate hits the field and bolts up, but I Swords Dance and put it to sleep before. Both my opponent's Pokemon sleep, while I Thunder Punch Tinglu, doing half of his health. Annihilate stays asleep, and Thunder Punch picks up the KO, forcing them into their final
Alakablam.
Annihilate wakes up, but Freeze Dry and Rage Fist don't KO Amoonguss, and I knock out Iron Bundle with Drain
Q.
Punch while putting Annihilate back to sleep. My opponent, down 4 against 1 with a sleeping Annihilate, forfeits. I switch up my leads for game 2, leading Fluttermane and Amoonguss against my
Abracadabra.
opponents Tinglu and Gyarados. I switch Fluttermane into Iron Hands and they try Thunder Wave, Tinglu Ruinations Amoonguss, and I Sport
Abracadabra.
Gyarados switches to Goldango as I Swords Dance and the Sport fails. The Gyarados switching in here is obvious, but I don't want to risk Tinglu hitting me with a huge stomp.
Avada-kedavra.
So I head my bets and
He
go for Rage
quit
Powder
on the
and
football
another Swords
there.
Dance.
What?
As they switch Gyarados and Nasty Ball.
Abrablams.
Gyarados is back to blue, but I protect Amoonguss as they go for Make Rain. And Thunder Punch KOs Goldango thanks to that second Swords Dance.
Alakazam.
And Rage Fist Amoonguss, doing not even half of my remaining health. Tinglu's Rascalus Poison, letting it survive my Drain Punch, but it stays asleep, which lets Amoonguss score the Annihilate. I go for Rage Powder and Thunder Punch Tinglu, and thanks to a
I barely did that.
KOs, forcing my opponent back into Gyarados. They try to get the flinch with Waterfall, but it doesn't work, and Thunder Punch KOs Gyarados while Annihilate stays asleep. I go for Swords Dance and Spore, and finish the game with Thunder Punch. My matchup here was so good that I didn't use a single Pokemon in either game. So I feel really good about winning round 1. It was actually normally kind of a problematic round for me, especially of day 2. However, I got a really good matchup, so it is worth acknowledging that. I think that really I couldn't ask for a better matchup for today, so I feel good, but I think it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be as favorable for me as that one was. My next opponent had a variant of the Arcanine Amoonguss Paladin team with Fluttermane, Iron Bundle, and Dragonite. I felt a little nervous since my Iron Bundle was mostly patched up with Iron Hands, and I don't normally bring Iron Hands versus this team. I'm so worried about the Iron Bundle, though, that I do decide to bring it this time. The game starts with Iron Bundle and Arcanine staring down by Chi-Yu and Fluttermane. I switch Fluttermane into Gyarados, but Iron Bundle clicks Freeze Dry. For a split second, I think the game might be over immediately. But then I see something strange. Gyarados isn't the target, it's Chi-Yu. My opponent probably predicted me to terastallize to water. I fire off a flamethrower, which just KOs Iron Bundle, and then Arcanine's Flare Blitz hits the Gyarados mission. This turn went even better than I'd hoped. They send out their own choice specs Flutter Mane and double my Gyarados with Moonblast and Flare Blitz. But even with the Beast of Ruin, Gyarados survives, and I launch a Flamethrower and Waterfall at Flutter Mane, knocking it out. Dragonite is the field, and I make a mistake. Since I've got 4 Pokemon left to do, my instinct is to step back on the gas and use my Pokemon lead to my advantage. What I forgot, however, is that Arcanine has Howl. It can punish a defensive play. I switch Gyarados to Iron Hands and Protect, and they go for Howl and launch an Extreme Speed into the switch. I go back into Gyarados, but they burn out with Will-O-Wisp as they Extreme Speed my Chi-Yu, and I Dark Pulse the Arcanine. Expecting another Extreme Speed, I switch Gyarados out with Flutter Mane. They Extreme Speeded Chi-Yu, but I barely survive, and Flutter Mane survives the Arcanine Flare Blitz thanks to the Intimidate. Chi-Yu knocks out Arcanine, putting me in the lead 4 against 1. They terastallize to Flying, but I predicted, and Thunderbolt Dark Pulse knocks out Dragonite, winning me game 1. I stick with my Flutter Mane Chi-Yu lead for game 2, but my opponent switches it up, leading with Arcanine and Dragonite. I switch Gyarados in for Chi-Yu and Dazzling Gleam, but my opponent goes for Howl and regular Terra Blast? Apparently they timed out and didn't Terra by mistake. Judging by how much the first Dazzling Gleam did, I have an idea. I switch Gyarados out to Chi-Yu, and as I expected, Dragonite terastallizes. So does my Flutter Mane. With the boosted damage thanks to Terra Fairy plus the Beads of Ruin, their Terra-flying Dragonite falls without even doing any damage. Even worse, their Arcanine went for Howl, meaning I've already knocked out a Pokemon, nearly knocked out Arcanine, and I still haven't taken any damage. Iron Bundle is sent out. They predict
Abla
Gyarados
Kablam.
and dry my Chi-Yu. Dazzling Gleam KOs the Iron Bundle, and Arcanine just barely survives and KOs Flutter Mane, which unfortunately for them knocks them out with 3 points, putting me in the lead 3 against 1. Their last Pokemon is Flutter Mane, which locks into Dazzling Gleam, and Waterfall Flamethrower easily
Make
KOs.
the hit. Make the hit. Yeah, make the hit. Make the hit. Yeah.
There are definitely moments throughout where I was a little worried, especially if you've down a team with a lot of offense like Iron Bundle, across Flutter Mane, with some choice specs. So I was really worried there, but I feel good about kind of my risk assessment and the way that I played. I think I had a good balance between stepping on the gas and stepping on the brakes. So overall, I felt like my play was pretty good, overall. And so that's really all I can ask for. Of course, there's still 3 rounds left today, so still a ways to go, but a 2-0 start is the best thing I can ask for, so I hope we keep moving forward. This is the point in the day where my notes get bad, but I still have enough to get things mostly right. Keep in mind, I still have 3 rounds left in this stage, and losing a single one means my tournament dreams are over. My next opponent is a veteran player with a rain team. It has Choice Scarf Goldengo, Pelipper, Azumarill, Iron Hands, Amoonguss, and a very strange Flutter Mane that is trained fully in its HP and defense stats. The early game centers heavily around Goldengo, and it tries to trick the Choice Scarf onto my Iron Hands, but I block it with Detect. I'm forced to switch out Iron Hands, and he switches out Goldengo. But later on, Goldengo comes back in and survives Chi-Yu's Dark Pulse by terastallizing in the rain. I use Terra Grass Iron Hands towards the middle of the game to take out this now Steel-type Goldengo and his Iron Hands, putting us in an endgame where I had most of my health left in Iron Hands and low HP Amoonguss against his 90% Azumarill and 1 HP Pelipper. I have 2 options, Rage Powder and Detect, which lets me get Flutter Mane in for free, or switch to Chi-Yu and Detect, which only backfires if he doesn't attack Amoonguss. I make a mistake and decide to Rage Powder, since it should guarantee the win. But then I realized something. Does my Flutter Mane get KO'd by Life Orb Rain-boosted Aqua Jet? If it does, I literally just threw away the game when I had a guaranteed win. I send out Flutter Mane. Chi-Yu doesn't help here. I cross my fingers, and he doesn't go for Aqua Jet. Moonblast KOs Pelipper, and Thunder Punch knocks out Azumarill. I win Game 1. Game 2 features another huge blunder on my part. Battle starts with both of us leading with Flutter Mane and Iron Hands. My Amoonguss pursuit here is incredibly free, but I overthink it in a big way. I Swords Dance and Shadow Ball their Flutter Mane, and he goes for Fake Out and Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. If I had just switched and protected, my spot would have been ridiculously good. In the end, I'm in a spot where I have Flutter Mane and Amoonguss against his Pelipper and Iron Hands. I have Iron Hands with low HP in the back, and my Flutter Mane is locked into Dazzling Gleam. Plus, I still have Terra available. I have 2 options. Dazzling Gleam and Spore, or switch out into my Iron Hands and pull and puff it up, filling its HP. We both know he has wide guard, so I decide to go for the mind game and click Dazzle Gleam and Terra Water Spore. My opponent hard reads it, going for wide guard and Wild Charge into my Amoonguss, knocking it out. From here, I can't win, so I can no longer switch out Fluttermane and he can just wide guard forever. I forfeit. Game 3 features the same Pokemon from both sides. This time, I switch Iron Hands to Amoonguss. He Terras to Fairy, but he fakes out my Fluttermane, anticipating my Terra. I Shadow Ball, doing over half of Fluttermane's health, and eat the Dazzling Gleam. Next turn, I predict a Protect. I switch in my Iron Hands for Fluttermane, eat the Wild Charge, and Spore his Iron Hand. Now I can Detect and Spore, leaving my opponent with half of his team asleep. From here, I set up a Sword Dance and use Iron Hands and Amoonguss to deal tons of damage to my opponent's team, setting up for an endgame where Fluttermane clean up easily. I win the set, putting me at 3 wins on the day.
Definitely starting to feel the pressure now. We're about halfway through this second phase of the tournament. I feel like my match was pretty good. My opponent just played really well. I am definitely a little concerned about what happened. Sour. Sweet.
Get out my face. Card up.
Me too. I feel like I was in a good position. I had a good lead, and I just got a little overzealous or predicted maybe or maybe just not out predicted myself. But taking that kind of risk is typically not a great sign for my overall play. So I just really hope that I can clean it up going into the next round. Obviously, very happy that I won, but I think that I probably, if I'd done it 100%, could have made it easier for myself. So yeah, 2 more rounds, and if I win both of them, I'll definitely advance to the next phase.
To my surprise, my next opponent had the exact same team. I felt good going in, but that feeling quickly evaporated. My previous opponent was using a Pelipper and a Zoomerl-centric game plan. This opponent led with Amoonguss and Iron Hands and left the Zoomer behind. For whatever reason, I decided to switch out my leads, starting with Chi-Yu and Amoonguss, which gives me a slight edge to start. The battle starts with my Chi-Yu switching out to Iron Hands, as they switch Amoonguss into Pelipper and fake out Amoonguss. I realized that with only Amoonguss, Iron Hands, and Fluttermane, if I let my Chi-Yu go down, I won't be able to get rid of their Amoonguss. And unlike my last opponent, this one has Clear Smog, so I can't ignore it and just sweep with Sword Stance. I protect Amoonguss as they terrestrialize to grass, and double attack Amoonguss with Hurricane and Wild Charge, letting me get a Sword Stance up for free. Not wanting to let Iron Hands run away with me, they switch their Amoonguss in for Iron Hands. But I ignore that slot, surviving a Hurricane with Amoonguss and launching a Thunder Punch and Spore into their Pelipper. With Pelipper out of commission, it's now safe for me to Terra Grass my Iron Hands. I switch Amoonguss out to Chi-Yu to recover some health and to knock out Pelipper with Drain Punch, blocking Spore with Terra Grass. Fluttermane hits the field. Protecting both my Pokemon stalls out the final turn of Rain. Fluttermane can't KO either Pokemon, and I knock out Amoonguss with Flamethrower and Fluttermane with Thunder Punch. Up 4 against 1, I win the game. My notes for Game 2 are a lot worse, unfortunately. For the first time in either set, I decided to make a strange adjustment of bringing Ting Lu. Seeing how much of a problem my Amoonguss was last game, Pelipper goes for Terra Flying Hurricane, try and knock out my Amoonguss in one shot. But in that same turn, I switch in Ting Lu. The reduction from Vessel of Ruin allows Amoonguss to survive and get a crucial Spore off. With Pelipper asleep, I'm able to knock it out, leaving the remaining Pokemon as Iron Hands, Gholdengo, and Amoonguss. None of these Pokemon can damage my Iron Hands. They do end up tricking Choice Scarf onto Amoonguss, but that just results in Chi-Yu outspeeding and KOing with Flamethrower. Without answers to Chi-Yu or Iron Hands, outspeeding and KOing with Flamethrower. Without answers to Chi-Yu or Iron Hands, I win the game.
I'm really proud of how that set went. Game 1, I feel like there was a lot of chances for me to just make a mistake and lose immediately, and I think that even though in the first time I played against that team, Chi wasn't that important, and this Game 1 was really, really important. And I think, realizing that, even though it was the same team early on, allowed me to keep it in mind, keep it safe, and just overall, keep it alive so I could win the game. And my Game 2 adjustment, I just feel really good about. That was the 5th time I've played against that team. I never brought Team Blue, but I realized, based on what's happening, that Team Blue would probably be a pretty good pick. And so, yeah, I'm really, really, really proud of kind of how I adjusted there. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling pretty nervous and a little bit tense from all the action and all kind of these high stakes situations. But I just really hope I can be the last one to make it into the top cut.
my heart sings. We have the exact same 6 Pokemon. Of course, even though we have the same Pokemon, it doesn't mean that our teams aren't the same. If I want to win this game, I'll need to use the differences in our teams to my advantage. The battle starts with my Gyarados and Team Blue staring down their Gyarados and Chi-Yu. I want to lead with Gyarados to prevent an early Iron Hands from running away with the game. I don't want to lose my Team Blue to Overheat and Waterfall, so I make a heavy play of Protect and Thunder Wave. The base which Chi-Yu uses Blue. My Thunder Wave connects, and their Gyarados misses their Thunder Wave. I want to break. I really want to preserve Blue's HP, so I switch it out for Iron Hands. Launch a Waterfall and
I just play
and I'd say launch the Gyarados
Myers.
They Ruination my Iron Hands for half of his health and terrorize my Gyarados.
Pure.
I'm worried Flutter Mane is legit, so I try and get a blow on the extra Blue. Unfortunately, Drain Punch doesn't KO his team, and their Ruination takes half of my Team Blue's HP, which is a massive problem. At this point, we don't know who's the Lewis faster, so I decide to make a risky play, hoping that it's mine. Thunder Punch KO's Gyarados. Their Team is faster and gets crucial damage on my Iron Hands before taking my Team Blue. I protect Team Blue and sacrifice Iron Hands, trying to get better positioning. I send Gyarados out, thinking I need speed control to win. Since I don't need it elsewhere, I Draftwise Team Blue, but my opponent wisely Draftwizes their Flutter Mane to Berry. Unfortunately,
I'll
that's
complain.
I'm pretty sure that Blue will make steps
Hey, rewatch that play. What happened there? Okay, so there are two safeties. One, oh, they broke the wrong. That sucks.
You know, you need to see this play.
To my shock, King Lou just barely hangs on with 3 HP and KO's Flutter Mane with Heavy Slam. Without Dylan's help to maximize the value I was getting from my EV spreads, that move probably would have KO'd. Gyarados connects with Thunder Wave, and suddenly I'm up 3 against 1. I win game 1. I'm definitely not out of the woods yet. For game 2, I stick with the same lead, but my opponent starts with an immediate Pokemon adjustment, leading Iron Hands and Gyarados this time. I'm worried about Swords Dance, so I switch Gyarados out of
Watch
Iron
this.
Hands and launch a Ruination into their Iron Hands. Gyarados' Waterfall does a bit more than
See
I
that safety?
but they go for
Yeah.
a wild charge, so
Roll
the
down,
while I take
Q.
half of their health. This damage is
Oh, we got there even though we had to like turn around shit.
last game
Yep.
because they don't have
And the ref was
leftovers
even like,
strategy
oh,
to let that back up. It's time to Terrasilize Team Blue, and my opponent takes the lead, hitting the
Yep.
Waterfall and Drain Punch for very little damage, while I Swords
I
Dance
know.
with Ruination. I don't want to give my opponent too much offense all at once, so I slow down the pace. Protect Team Blue and pull off the Waterfall while KOing Iron Hands with a Drain Punch. This might seem a little strange since it was KO this turn, but I don't want to let my opponent easily get Flutter Mane next to Chi-Yu, especially since I'm already using Terra. Flutter Mane is thinned out and I make a mistake. The correct play is to double attack with Flutter Mane with Heavy Slam and Thunder Punch, preventing Chi-Yu from getting in next to Flutter Mane. Instead, I go for Heavy Slam with Flutter Mane with attacks and KO Gyarados. A massive blunder. My mistakes, unfortunately, continue. I don't know my damage calc super well, so I go for a double attack. But to my shock, Blue Blast KO's Iron Hand, which causes Heat Wave to become 25% stronger and actually KO my Team Blue. I went from being up 4 against 2 to being tied 2 against 2, with my Pokemon being slower than my opponent's. I was forced into Gyarados and Chi-Yu. Thankfully, my Gyarados is ridiculously bulky, and even with Terra Fairy and the Muse of Ruin, Moonblast doesn't do much more in attacks. With both my Pokemon surviving, I'm able to double into Flutter Mane and knock it out, leaving only Chi-Yu left. I protect and Master Plot, giving assurance against crit or burn on the Gyarados. Hard pull is over now, and those two big drops both my Pokemon already. They both survive, and Gyarados plays 3 AO with Waterfall. I've gone 5 wins and 0 losses, and I'm able to advance to the final game of the playoffs.
Talking about the fact that your past events, how many day twos that you've been able to get, we will bring that up for you. 7 consecutive day two finishes.
That's right, yeah. So 7 consecutive day finishes. I'm really proud of that because especially like people might not know this, they weren't kind of paying attention to way back in the day, like 2011 when I started. But I used to have a really hard time in competition. I always felt like if they get the top guy past the first stage is a really big accomplishment, something that I'm really proud of personally. There's not much time to rest. From here on out, a single loss eliminates you from the tournament. When the standings are posted, I look to see who will be playing in this first elimination game, and my heart sinks as I see that it's the exact same team. I need to beat my own team again. There are some differences. This is Helping Hand Gyarados, Choice Specs Fluttermane, Leftover
Kit Kat, Reese's. Sorry, both. Sandwich.
Bruce Nasty Plot, Eric Grass Chiyu, and Citrus Berry and Lucas. I decided to lead Gyarados and Fluttermane. They lead with Iron Hand and Lucas. I realize I messed up. If I want to toss Lucas, I can save Gyarados with Iron Hand. I can't take a swing. I risk it. To my surprise, it's out. Fortunately, their Iron Hand Grass Blast is higher and goes for Swords Dance. My Blast does no damage.
Tell me it's on them.
Eliminated Chiyu and launched Waterfall and Iron Hand. With good damage. To my shock, my opponent launched the Drain Punch into my Fluttermane. And since I switched to Chiyu, it picks up the 1 KO and its Iron Hand's back to full HP. I flounder around a bit, but my Fluttermane goes down. Only Gyarados and Lucas left. I lose game 1. I am completely out of field. One more loss and my tournament is over. This time I lose Gyarados and Tinglu against their Tinglu and Iron Hands. In the early game, I use Predation, chopping down their Iron Hands with Tinglu, then finish Tinglu off against the Hands. The mid-game is their paralyzed Gyarados and Iron Hands with only 35% left against my Fluttermane at full HP and Tinglu. I know there's a good move I can make here, but I run out of time. And when you run out of time, the game selects your move for you. I want to switch Tinglu into Chiyu, but instead, the game gives me Protect. They protect Iron Hand, blocking my Moon Blast. Now they're able to paralyze my Fluttermane. I KO the Iron Hands as they knock out my Tinglu, but their last Pokemon is revealed to be Fluttermane. My heart sinks. They haven't terrestrialized yet. My opponent has a guaranteed because my Fluttermane is paralyzed now, and she is on the board. Terra Fairy and Blue Blast will always be able to throw Fluttermane, and Chiyu will lose to the 1 against 2. I'm so frustrated. I really feel like if I could have just gotten to game 3, I could have won the set. My opponent wasn't expecting my Iron Hands at all, and if I brought it, I would have been able to win. I'm happy to have made the top 8, but losing to my exact same 61, I don't know. It feels bad. But suddenly, something strange happened. Their Fluttermane Terrace was very good, but next Pokemon to move is Gyarados. The opposing Gyarados couldn't move because of paralysis. Because Gyarados tried to go first, that means it must have used Helping Hand. But why? It wasn't necessary for their KO on Fluttermane. Terra Fairy Blue Blast was easily past that. And then, I get it. They didn't go for Blue Blast. They wanted to use the Terra Fairy Helping Hand as the lead. But it's the paralysis. Both my Pokemon just barely survive. I fail the Fluttermane and then paralyze. Somehow, I brought it to the game. This time, I'm bringing Iron Hands. The leads are identical. Iron Hands Gyarados versus Iron Hands Gyarados. We both use Gyarados in the team. When they go for Wild Charge, I go for Swords Dance. They're obviously going to switch their Gyarados, so I go for Swords Dance as I switch my Luna Gyarados and Utilization Head, and they do switch their Gyarados. I switch my Gyarados to Tinglu as their Gyarados Waterfall to Iron Hand, and that's a critical hit, dealing about 35%. Their Tinglu terrestrializes water, but I call it, and I launch a Thunder Punch into that slot. Fortunately, it just barely survives the ruination to my Iron Hand. I switch Tinglu back to Gyarados and Drain Punch their Gyarados as they double into Iron Hand. I KO their Tinglu with Waterfall as their Waterfall is basically nothing, and Thunder Punch picks up the KO on Gyarados, putting me in the lead of 4 against 2. Iron Hands re-enters the field, as does their Choice Specs Fluttermane. I sacrifice Iron Hands to a Moon Blast. It's done its job, as they Wild Charge the Gyarados to attack. I'm now able to get my still healthy Tinglu into play. I terrestrialize the Poison, and Moon Blast and Drain Punch tickle Tinglu, while Waterfall and Heavy Slam KO Fluttermane. With my Fluttermane still alive in the back, and 3 Pokemon left in the field, I complete up the game, and somehow advance to
That might be the best play I've ever seen in this game. Like, that was a massive mistake on their part. Watch us. He throws. It bounces off his helmet into his hands. Oh my god, I'm gonna use it.
I think this is the best play I've ever seen in Madden. I think this is the best play I've ever seen in Madden, so it kind of needs to see better. Okay.
Bounces off his head into my guy's hands.
I'm not complaining at all. I feel really good about my game 3, though I was lucky to get there in the first place. Next up, I have top 4, which is against the same player who beat me in the last round yesterday. So it's the only team that I've lost to thus far this event. This is my 3rd time playing it. I feel better than I did yesterday, but I mean, I am 0-2 versus this team, so I guess we'll see.
Unfortunately for me, I'm playing against my round 9 opponent from yesterday. The Shen Pao, Dragonite, Fluttermane, Arcanine, Gambit, and Iron Bundle team that I've already lost to twice in this tournament. At this point in the day, I am beyond exhausted. However, I have just a few minutes where I can try to make a plan. In my 2 sets versus this team, both players used 3 leads in total.
Watch this. So the play starts. He throws the ball. It bounces off his helmet straight into my guy's hands.
Oh shit.
Of course, they are able to stop him from doing anything after that, but still. Yep. I'm pretty sure that player's gonna get yelled at on the sideline. Yep.
Dragonite, Shen Pao, Gambit,
Yep.
Fluttermane and Iron Hands up front, Gyarados and back. It's time for the set to start, but when I actually sit on the stage, I lose confidence in my plan. I definitely feel like I'm missing something. Running out of time, I think Fluttermane and against Brand and Gambit and Shen Pao. Right away, I don't like my position. I can't safely KO either of these Pokemon. I switch Fluttermane to Iron Hands on Flamethrower and Shen Pao. Its ability is really problematic, and I want it gone as soon as possible. The Gambit's rest was fire with his problem. Survives the same sword and brings Shen Pao down to Focus Sash. And here's where I make my first misplay. I go for a attack and Flamethrower. This is bad for 2 reasons. First, Iron Hand should probably be using this opportunity to set up Sword Stance. Second, I should never Flamethrower. The only Pokemon like this for Shen Pao are Dragonite and Arcanine. With only one is irritating, it doesn't matter what I need. Shen Pao switches into Arcanine, and this has been Dark Field that would have done Flamethrower instead does nothing. Anticipating a Sucker Punch, I switch Chi-Yu into Tank Blue. But Sucker Punch doesn't come out, as my opponent Iron Heads, Iron Hands to cover the switch. And here's where I make my next mistake. I Terastallize Blue and launch Stomping Tantrum at Arcanine. This should have been ruination. Stomping Tantrum won't be able to 1 ways, and because I Stomping Tantrum, Dragonite proceeds for 3. My opponent is the Gambit out here Shen Pao. Thanks to Poison typing, Stomping Tantrum is Gambit, but I barely survived. I KO'd Shen Pao with Stomping Tantrum and Great Multi-Scale with Thunder Punch. This would have KO'd if my earlier move had been ruination. Arcanine re-enters the field. My opponent doubles into Iron Hand and I protect, but Stomping Tantrum fails to KO Arcanine, and I'm forced to sacrifice Chi-Yu, protecting my Team Blue. I get Fluttermane back in, and miss a potential win condition. Dragonite needs to switch to Terra Fire to the end here, but because I'm missing damage on both of these Pokemon, I'm worried Vessel of Ruin will stop Dazzling Beam from KOing. So I switch Team Blue to Iron Hands and hit Arcanine protects this Team Gambit, taking little damage from Dazzling Beam. I can still win though. I switch Fluttermane to Team Blue as Arcanine Flare Blitzes into Iron Hand. I retaliate by knocking it out with Drain Punch as Gambit finishes off with Blue. 2 against 2. My win condition is hope that with Sword Dance and Drain Punch, Iron Hands can somehow win a 1 against 1 against Team Gambit. I have a choice to make. Should I try and Sword Dance with Iron Hand, take 50 speed, or do I just go for attack? I go for attack, and to my shock, Dragonite blocks Aquajet. Sucker Punch follows it up, and Fluttermane goes down. I had no idea that Fluttermane would be there, which is likely another perfect day for being inexperienced with the team. Burnt Iron Hands cannot win a 2 against 1, and I lose the game. But I have another shot. If I win game 2, I'm back in this. I decided to lead with Iron Hands and Fluttermane, hoping to pressure Shen Pao without taking tons of damage. damage right away. But I get outled. Arcanine and King Gambit are probably the worst two Pokemon I can be facing down. I didn't bring Chi-Yu this game, which means I can't save Iron Hand from Burn. I decide to take it and Swords Dance, saving Flutter Mane with a switch to King Blue. Unfortunately, my opponent's doubles into the switch with Flare Blitz and Iron Head, doing over half of my health. I go for another Swords Dance, but my Iron Hand gets burned while my King Blue's mates low kick. I'm forced into Gyarados. I eat a Flare Blitz, but Waterfall does over half of King Gambit's HP. Drain Punch comes out, but King Gambit just barely survives. Even though Iron Hand steals most of his health, it loses it right away and fails as I go for Thunder Wave. I realize I need some good fortune to win this. I go for Waterfall into Dragonite, hoping for Paralysis or Flinch and Drain Punch into King Gambit, but not before King Gambit does a ton to Gyarados with Sucker Punch. I knock out King Gambit and get the Paralysis on Dragonite, keeping me alive just barely. Unfortunately, the fourth Pokemon is Iron Bundle, threatening a KO on my Gyarados. I try and KO it with Freeze Punch, but Arcanine puts in both Iron Bundle and Gyarados protect. Now I'm in hand. I go for Terra Steel and survive the Freeze Drive, but my opponent doubles up with Flare Blitz and Gyarados goes down, forcing me into Flutter Mane as Iron Bundle survives Thunder Punch. But I still have a win condition. I ignore the Iron Bundle and launch Shadow Ball into Arcanine. If this KOs, I may still be able to win, but somehow Arcanine survives on what seems to be 1 HP. If it had fainted, I had a decent chance of paralyzed Dragonite and obviously unbroken, but that minuscule amount of HP separates me from the victory. Arcanine Flare Blitz drops Flutter Mane super low, and though it fakes the recoil, the damage is done. Freeze Dry finishes off Flutter Mane, and though I KO Bundle, Outrage comes out and finishes off Iron Hand. I lose to the team for a third time, and then eliminated from the tournament in third place. So obviously I'm bumped on this point. At the end of the day, I this weekend is but I guess it's just an exciting team building, and I think given how incredible the season has been, I did a really good job. And even though the set that I lost, I feel like you guys really played really well. They made it so difficult for me to make good predictions, and like at the end of the day, you can't be upset to being outplayed and everything. So, would like to go all the way, but I think this is a really good performance, and overall, I'm really happy with that. So now that the dust has settled and I've had some time to reflect, how do I feel? It's tough to watch setbacks where I can see I made a number of mistakes, both big and small. I don't think that the matchup was unwinnable with the tools that I had. At the same time, though, you saw my journey to get here. I had no team and no preparation, and I still did, I think, pretty well. Making it to the semifinals after needing to win all 5 of my games in the 6th round is something really difficult. And even though I didn't win the tournament, I'm still really proud of myself. With this tournament concluded, there are only 2 events left this season: the North American International Championship and the World Championship. I intend to give them both my all and show what I can do with a little more preparation.
The kicker on for the extra point. The kick is good. Makes the score Texans 28, Jaguars 7.
Plus, Hulu and ESPN Plus have all the action. Holy smokes! Stream live NFL and college football, plus so much more. Get the Disney bundle today.
The Jaguars take over
Pokemon North American International Championships are the second biggest tournament of the entire year, with players coming from all around the globe competing for money, glory, and their final chance to qualify for the Pokemon World Championships. For me, this is the most important event of my entire season thus far. I already qualified for the World Championships back in February, but there's a lot more at stake here. At the end of the season, the 8 best performing players in North America will get to skip the entire first phase of the World Championships and start competing on the second day of the tournament. Being able to start directly on the second day is a massive, massive advantage. To give you an idea of how big this is, only one player has ever managed to win the World Championships after starting in the first day. On top of that, the last 2 times that I had to start in day 1 of Worlds, I failed to make it out, including last year. So for me, Nationals is my final chance to
Hey, did you get one? called Wolfie VCG. He's a Pokemon YouTuber who has made the World Championships in Pokemon multiple times. And he was talking about how the scariest thing for him is when he has to start day one in the tournament. You want to know why? Why? What the fuck? Whenever he starts day one, he either barely makes it out or he doesn't at all. Wow. Because like he even said like last year, and he went 5-3. Wow. Meaning he didn't make it to day 2, so he didn't make it farther in the tournament. Yep.
Qualified for day 2 of the World Championships. But there's a problem. Despite this being my most consistent season ever, making it past the first day of competition in every regional level event I attended and covered the worst season overall, I'm not in the top 8 there. Reason being, I was unable to attend either of the 2 other international championships in Europe and Australia. These events are valued many times more than the regional level events I attended. And every other player in contention attended at least one of them, but the majority of them attended both. This puts me at a massive disadvantage, as placing in the top 128 players at an international earns you as many points as a top 8 finish in the region, with better finishes earning many more points. And so, in order to earn a spot in day 2 of the World Championships, I need to finish 4th place or better. This is an incredibly difficult goal to reach. Every other top American player would be as well as many of the top but this is also the tournament that I've won more than any other, claiming victories 3 times out of the 10 times I've attended. And in all 3 of those, I needed to finish 4th place or better in order to make it to the World. So even though, yeah, it is a very ambitious goal, it's also something that I've done before. Of course, in order to win any tournament, you need to have a good team. If you're not super familiar with competitive Pokemon, basically what you need to know is that a lot of the time spent preparing for tournaments isn't actually about playing the game. It's about deciding which Pokemon you should use. There are about 400 Pokemon legal in the current rules, meaning dozens of methods that you can learn and items that you use. Not to mention the fact that you can use stats to let you why don't you use things. Coming up with a cohesive 6 Pokemon team that works well together and covers all other combinations of 6 that you might play against is really challenging. Which is why I'm not going to think about it. Or at least I wasn't when I was pouring the games. It's April 14th, 2.5 months before Nationals, and my friends are competing in the European International
Personal foul.
against Nationals. I'm going to go for anything, but a bunch of my friends are going, and I really want them to do well. I'm working on a raid team with Caliper and Palafin that I think has a bunch of potential, but I get a message from my friend Yuki. He's got a very unusual team, featuring Dondozo, Pigaton, and Gothel. And since he has a parent code, he wants me to take a look at his team to see if it's okay. The team is really cool. Wide Lens
I'm done.
CPU hits Overheat and Will-O-Wisp far more often. The Flutter